This is a really innovative financing solution that you've come up with, and what I'm most curious to find out about is how it came about right in the middle of COVID. Tell us how you're working with partners to raise this new cash.
First of all, Dan, thank you for having us and for following our story from the beginning. But we actually began around the third quarter of last year engaging with financing partners about expansion capital. Our pilot in the desert, which you visited, showed very promising results, the potential for year-round local production at very high quality and at a very good cost structure. So we began efforts to expand, preparing designs, securing land partners, both in the UAE and Saudi and now in Kuwait. And then of course began on the journey to pursue capital to build those farms. So we are now nearly complete with construction of 2 new assets here in the UAE and expanding our portfolio. We'll be producing more tomatoes, leafy greens, and a greater variety of strawberries, which we currently produce today, and also building a beachhead in Saudi Arabia with this capital. So with regards to the solution, though, I have to thank our partners. I mean, Shua, Sancta, and Franklin Templeton were extremely creative, developing a highly structured sukuk financing solution, so an Islamic bond, if you will, that has been able to accommodate our longer-term needs of capital for an aggressive capital or CapEx program, and also accommodates the fast-growing nature of the business, right? Fundamentally, this is venture debt, which is quite novel for this region. There's not a significant venture debt market. So we're really grateful for these partners for believing in the story, the future for a more sustainable food production system here in the Middle East, and underwriting the potential of our early pilot facility and our team. So really, I have to thank our partners as well.
And what's really fascinating, Sky, for anyone who has followed your business is it's solving a real regional problem. We know you've been around long before COVID, long before food security was on top of the national agenda. So explain to us what the growth strategy looks like moving forward and how your technology has application beyond the UAE.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Admittedly, we saw this opportunity relatively early, right? We're the early entrant in this market in the Middle East and a pioneer for food security investment here. But the government has been extremely accommodative. Her Excellency Maryam El-Mahary in the Middle East, the Minister of State of Food and Water Security, really has a very similar belief and vision that technology can be used to localize food production in some crops, not in every crop, but certainly in the ones that we serve in fruits and vegetables. And so we saw that vision. They now certainly support it, and we've received tremendous support now, both from the Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund, the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and ADQ. So there's been sovereign investment, as well as from WAFRA, the Kuwaiti Sovereign Investment Fund that led our Series A. So we've had great support. Now, where we're headed, though, this solution is now very proven. We've broken into the market. We sell in all the major retailers, Waitrose, Spinneys, Carrefour, also in the hotels, restaurants, and catering markets. And there is tremendous demand for local produce that is very high quality, European standards, pesticide residue-free, extremely flavorful, and a lot of varieties, but sold at a tremendously lower cost than traditionally importing those foods. So we're going to expand around the region, and we're currently doing that now, Dan. As you know, we have projects here in the UAE, in Saudi, in partnership with NADEC, a public company there, and also in Kuwait, in partnership with the Sultan Center, the largest private retailer in Kuwait. After we've done this, we're starting to look for international expansion and partners, markets like Southeast Asia. Essentially, our technology solves the problems of heat and humidity. And that haunts a lot of places in the world that end up having to import a tremendous amount of their food needs and have seasonal production dynamics. So markets like Malaysia serving Singapore, Japan, even my home market, I grew up in Arizona, markets like Arizona and northern Mexico serving the United States market. So we see tremendous potential because solving heat and humidity to make food production within 2,000 miles of the equator both possible and economic is really quite disruptive. And we hope there's a bright future for our company.
And Sky, just to put it into context with what we're seeing globally now, we know ESG investing has really grown in importance throughout the course of the pandemic, but do you think your business, even despite having raised around $200 million plus now, is underfunded relative to peers in China or the United States?
Very good question, Dan. Fundamentally, yes, right? I will say that the venture markets in the Middle East are maturing quickly, and there are a lot of wonderful new entrants to the market and incumbents that have funded the early winners here, like Kareem and Souk. However, it's still a relatively nascent market. And look at, for instance, this incredible structured venture finance solution that we've received from these partners. This is quite innovative and extremely large, right? Our Series A at over $29 million is one of the largest ever in the region. And a company at the Series A stage, having achieved over 200 million of capital, is extremely large on a global standard, but certainly for this region. However, in an industry like ours, it's extremely capital intensive. We are still relatively underfunded. There's players like Plenty in the United States that have received hundreds of millions of capital from parties like SoftBank. There's Bowery Farms, Bright Farms, farms in Asia. The Sequoia backed a company called Lagaga some time ago. So a lot of these companies have secured a lot more capital than we have, yet admittedly our market need is great, right? We fundamentally import 80 to 90% of the fresh fruits and vegetables in this region. So this isn't about displacing driving food 200 miles. It's about having food at all. And that's a tremendously different problem and need. However, I think attracting capital to this market, it's a newer venture market, less proven exits, admittedly. However, I think that's changing quickly. And obviously, we're very grateful to the partners that have backed us. But you'll look at us, we're a bit unique, Dan, in that our capital has been sourced all over. We have investors from the United States, right, Singapore, Hong Kong, and of course around the region, Kuwait, Saudi, UAE. So we've had to fight for that capital. However, we're very grateful to our partners, and now we're really building, we're crossing the chasm, right? We're hitting that stage, scaling our business around the region.